It must have been Mr. Beast on Joe Rogan talking about how he has multiple different channels dubbed.
Oh yeah,
And so I think we were like less than a year into the podcast. We go, do we got to dub this podcast? Like, do we need the 505 podcast in like 70 different languages? We're like, no, maybe we should focus on, growing the show.
Just get English going, dude.
Yeah, getting English going and getting some more guests.
Oh gosh.
On the topic of having like a logical next step and on personal brands, because this is something me and Braden have been, I think, trying to figure out as well. Like for Instagram specifically, ideally every piece of content you put out is like potentially talking about or leading to or talking about in some way, shape, or form, like your main core offer. But for example, I'm really into travel photography or street photography. It doesn't necessarily lead to our core offer, which is Pay to Be You, which is teaching how to build and monetize a personal brand. How would you recommend somebody who wants to bring in other things that they're interested in, but maybe it's not like directly tying into the next step or talking about like the core offer, but it's still something they're interested in and it's going to help them build their personal brand? Like, what would you recommend to that person, or how would you recommend navigating that?
Yeah. So I don't quite agree with your approach of like every piece of content needs to map to the core thing.
Okay.
That's on a philosophy. That's not my brand philosophy. I would say that back in Napkin, as an example, like imagine a world, and screw the numbers here, but just to illustrate it specifically, imagine a world where 50% of your content maps in some way to the brand ecosystem that includes your offer. So say your offer in your case is around personal brands and monetization. What are the pieces of that, right? There's selling something online. There is differentiating yourself online. And there is telling your story online. So that's that whole 50%, right? Is that kind of stuff. Now, as an example, like just in that 50%, one of those that I just mentioned was like telling your story. So let's get to the other 50%, right? Which is like you're building a brand, right? So it can't just be constant, just like hammering people with like a message constantly, because people also want to know like who you are, what makes you tick, and even part of your brand. First off, it's personal brand, personal. And second is like, part of it is like telling your story, let's just say under this example, right? In terms of, that was kind of a pillar. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it would make sense then that you're telling your story and you're getting a bit personal and people understand what you're all about. And I think that's really important, and you guys had mentioned too, that a lot of people come to you because of, your energy and vibe. Mm-hmm. And I also said that that's something for me too, right? So it's like, that's your opportunity to build the emotional connection, to tell the story, to exemplify what you're talking about, and to, again, differentiate yourself versus the other folks that may be doing this kind of stuff, right? So that, maybe, you have this weird also kind of side niche of like, it's like skateboarders coming to you for that kind of stuff. And more the streetwear Stussy type folks are like interested also in like your thing. And they understand that you understand that kind of cool world and come from that angle. And so like you attract that kind of like psychographic. And that's the thing I'll say is like one individual who, really tipped me onto entrepreneurship 20 years ago was Tim Ferriss, right? And I think he's, tipped, millions and millions of people onto it, right?
Same.
And so when you look at Tim, right, I think there's like an interesting thing that I think about, right? Which is like, I don't know, 25 years later, like what's Tim's niche? Like, I don't really think he has a niche, right? I think that he's built an enduring brand off of his curiosity. And I think that if you were to more dissect it, I think it at least for me, comes down to he's attracted a psychographic, which is he talks about all these things he's interested in and these weird guests and these weird things he wants to do. And yeah, sure, maybe it's rooted sometimes in like nutrition, performance, productivity, travel, I don't know, right? But the combination of all that attracts like a certain kind of human, right? And then he serves those humans, right? And so similarly, like you start to do the skateboarding and photography and streetwear and this, and then also the personal branding side, and it starts to attract a certain psychographic that's kind of weird and odd. But the beautiful thing about the internet is like you can find your own little corner of it, right? And every corner of the internet is an easy $10 million a year business if you do it right. And so it's just being okay with like finding your own little corner, your own little wedge, and then just like, and attracting that psychographic. And it may be kind of really hard to name, right? Like Joe Rogan's I would say is more of a psychographic, Huberman is a psychographic. Like these guys' niche is like, I don't really know what it is, but I know when I'm in a sauna and there's another dude over there, like I'm sure in the first 5 minutes of our conversation, somehow Huberman's going to come up. Yeah. It's like, that's the niche, right? It's like people that are into saunas and this and want human performance and are into like the science of their health and all that. Like, that's how I see it.
I think it was just like, all right, if we are teaching about building and monetizing a personal brand, obviously we're building our personal brands. Like we have that, but it's like, man, like, do we just gotta like, I was just nervous about the personal brand or our brand turning into just teaching about building a brand. Cause I hate that. I hate when it's like someone who,
me too.
Yeah,
they've only built their brand around teaching someone how to do the thing.
Yeah.
But I really like how you thought about it. It's like, 50% can be teaching it and, telling a story while you're teaching it. And the other part is just like the fucking stuff.
And I think off of what you're saying too, just one thing I think about a lot too is like intuition, right? And like your intuition there too is like, I hate when people do that, right? And there's something there, right? Like you don't want to build something you hate the next 5 years. That's brutal, right? Maybe it was about 6 years ago. I was building a business for 5 months that I hated. And it was because at the time I knew this business was going to be like a $200-300 million business. And I had negotiated, 60% equity in this. I could see where it was going. It was clear as day, right? But I hated building this thing. And there was 2 co-founders in it. I hate co-founders, not like, I just don't build businesses with other people like that. I always want to own 97% plus of my businesses just because that's how I do things. And so this thing was not fitting the criteria, but I could see the money pot. And I was like, so my mind and my head was like, Matt, fucking go for it. But my heart was like, I don't know. My gut was like, come on, man, don't make us do this. And I remember being on a call with my therapist explaining this. And she's like, so like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to build the thing. Right. She's like, what do you mean you don't know? Right. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I can't say no to this. I mean, this is like the freaking opportunity you wait for your whole life. Right. She's like, Matt, let me explain something to you. There's this concept called a whole body yes. Right. This idea of like paying attention to what your mind is telling you, what your heart is telling you, and what your gut is telling you. Right. And when something's right for you as a human, like you'll feel that energy all aligned in your body, right? Your heart's like, let's go. Sorry, your head's like, let's go. Your heart's just like full and just like fired up. And your gut's like, let's fucking get it. Right. And it wasn't that. And I didn't know the other thing I was going to build. I just kind of felt like, this was not a whole body yes. And it was scary as hell. Like one of the scariest, weirdest things ever, because I'd never done this before, never lived like this. And I was like, all right, here's an experimentation and just like trusting this therapist, I guess. And I said no to the thing, gave back the equity, told my friend, hey, just, wishing you all the best and I'm here to support you, but I can't do this. Sure enough, fast forward 6 years later, it is a $100 million plus company. So I was right there, but I look back on it and don't regret it at all. Because similar to what you're going through in this, right? It's like, I don't want to build something I hate. Right. And so I think it's also just like tuning into that, right? It's like, if you're excited, and that's what we were talking about with the other thing too, if you're excited by something and if you're jazzed up by it, I mean, I'm also not saying to go and find 1,000 shiny toys and just rip it either, right? Like we're trying to be focused, but you guys are smart guys, right? And there's these little angles or things you want to try and all that. There should be spaciousness also for that playfulness and that experimentation in what you're doing.